Hey guys, welcome back to another episode on the Musical Jelly channel. Today, I am going to be reacting to Babysitting Stories animated. So, I'm a babysitter, so I'm always looking up babysitting tricks just to make myself more newer to what children like these days. This came into my recommendation, and I just thought, why not? Let's react to it. So let's get on with the video.
It was during a blizzard in Valley Stream. I was getting paid $250 to watch some couple's kid while they went away for the weekend.
That's pretty good.
His name was Matthew.
$250.
This took place on the first night, which was a Friday night. Matthew was already supposedly asleep while I was in the living room watching a movie.
Goodness.
I got a knock at the door
Oh no,
and looked at the clock.
It's midnight.
It was close to midnight.
Probably.
There was no way I was opening it. Not even 10 seconds later,
Oh goodness.
I heard the sound of 2 or 3 men angrily banging on the door,
Please tell me this is
telling me
not
to
a
open
horror
up.
story.
I felt like my
I
heart
don't do
was
good
about
on
to
horror
stop.
stories. Oh goodness, please don't be a horror story. This is gonna be a horror story. Oh, why did I do this? I am not good with horror stories. I am not good with horror stories at all. Oh, I swear, if he opens the window and someone's looking back at him, please, no. That scares me, because I have 2 windows in my room, and if I'm always terrified that at night I'm going to open the window and someone's going to be staring right back at me. That terrifies me. Please don't have that.
I took a peek through the blinds, and there was somebody standing right on the other side of the window.
Oh! Nope, nope, nope. Have fun, guys. Nope. That looks so creepy. What the heck? Oh, let's just keep going.
I fell back in fear, and
Yeah.
after managing to get back on my feet, I ran to the kitchen phone first thing to call the police.
Oh, goodness.
They said because of the weather, it could take a while for an officer to get here.
Filed a nail.
I was told to take the child and hide somewhere until an officer arrived.
You're in a freaking
They wanted to
blizzard.
keep
Where's
me
you
on the
gonna
line,
hide?
but I wasn't thinking clearly in the heat of the moment and hung up. However, it wasn't until I ran through the living room that I realized the banging had stopped.
Oh no.
I took a second peek through the living room window.
Why would you do that?
Nobody was there now.
Oh, thank goodness. Please no. Oh.
I heard the sound of glass shattering from a few rooms
Glass?
over. My knees
Glass?
started to
Wait, did he
feel
say-
weak as
Oh
I
my
realized they had just broken the window and were about to climb into the house.
Ugh.
I had to run and get Matthew. I couldn't just leave without him.
Ugh.
Of course, when I got upstairs, there was no time left to run back downstairs, as I already heard footsteps and laughter coming from downstairs. I covered Matthew's mouth with my hand as I ran with him into his toy closet. A few minutes.
I have goosebumps. Please no. Being alone where you have no authority to protect you, or someone with a gun, while someone breaks into your house, that's a little terrifying. I'm sorry. I've only had that happen to me once. It was no one broke into my house. Someone almost broke into the neighbor's house, I think. Oh no, someone stole a car and then was hiding out in my neighbor's house. Oh my gosh, police came and that was terrifying. This is terrifying. Ugh.
Dragged on to what felt like half an hour as we sat there in the dark closet. Matthew began to squeal as footsteps on the carpet reached the outside of his bedroom door. There was more than one person. They came inside.
Oh no.
There weren't many places to hide in this room. I was actually reflecting on my whole life, so sure I was gonna die.
Well, yeah.
We heard the sound of a police siren outside, even from in the closet, and then I heard one of the men in the room mutter, "Aw, shit." I opened the door back up as I heard at least 3 pairs of footsteps hurriedly rushing down the stairs. They didn't get far, as the police later found their footprints in the backyard, leading to our shed. There were 5 men in total, and they were all arrested.
That sounds like a nerd. Oh, goodness. Oh, why did I do that? Why would I do that? Why would I watch this? I'm terrified now. I am literally terrified. I have to watch another one. Alright, school lockdown.
Finally be upon us, so everybody
Wait,
was
what
getting antsy in their seat.
There. last one. I don't think I can handle this.
It was a typical boring day in calculus, only it was Friday, 7th period, meaning the week was almost over and spring break would finally be upon us. So everybody was getting antsy in their seats, I could tell.
That was great.
We didn't have a test that day like a lot of my friends did with their other teachers. So our teacher in the middle of class just decided to start playing games with us on Sporkle.com.
That sounds great.
He was a very laid-back teacher like that. As we were doing some brand logo quiz on Sporkle, I remember the exact moment it happened. Right after my friend answered a question, I remember the exact answer too, Adidas. The dean's voice came through the loudspeaker. He sounded panicked and frantic as he told all the teachers this was not a drill and to go into lockdown.
No.
I actually got the chills, and I got goosebumps on
I
my
would
arms
too.
as our usually
I would cry.
laid-back teacher
I
too
would
seemed
die.
panicked as he ran to turn off the lights and ushered us to the back corner of the room. We all sat in silence for about 2 minutes, and then the usual buzzing that came from a panel in the back of the room ceased, indicating that the school must have cut all the power. We all looked at each other,
I would be
realizing this must be
terrified.
serious. A few more
Whoever's next to me will be crushed because I will be literally squeezing you guys. Whoever's is next to me. Please no. If they come into the room, I'm gonna leave. I'm just gonna end it and I'm just gonna leave. Please no.
More minutes of waiting later, we heard a man screaming at the top of his lungs coming down the hallway. 2 girls in the class actually started crying,
I
which
would
made all
too.
of us even more scared. As the screaming got closer to the classroom, the lunatic-sounding man started banging on the lockers while screaming, "I'll kill all of you." It was at that moment that I started to fear for my life. My teacher shushed us as we all looked at each other to see our peers' reactions. The banging then moved from the lockers to our classroom
Why
door,
is there blood?
and that's when one of the crying girls screamed no.
Why
The
would
banging on the door only grew worse
that's
as the man
creepy.
started screaming, "Open up." 2 of the girls in the class were crying out loud now. It felt like an eternity that man was pounding at the door, but eventually he finally continued down the hallway, screaming like a mentally insane person
He
until we
probably
could
is
not
either
hear him
mentally insane or
anymore.
drunk.
I'd say 10 minutes later, though it felt like half an hour given the situation, the
yeah.
dean came back on the loudspeaker explaining the situation, which was surprising for him to do. He explained that some apparently mentally unstable person entered the building and assaulted the woman sitting at the front desk, causing her to flee the building screaming, and staff wasn't sure if the man was armed or not. Now this was before the school had cameras or could afford proper security, so the school was wide open to something like this happening. The staff had done a sweep of all the hallways and classrooms and couldn't find him, so the dean instructed the teachers to resume teaching but to keep all the doors locked and to not let any students leave for any reasons. The most disturbing part, however, is that one of the janitors working the night shift found the man sleeping in one of the storage closets near the back end of the school, and according to rumors that were spread by my peers, sticking out of his pocket was a .44 Magnum. The janitor must have done something stupid to wake him up, for example, leaving the closet door open, because by the time a police officer could arrive on the scene, the man was gone. My entire class, as far as I know, to this day, has no idea if this man was ever found, but I like to think that right now, he's being given the proper help that he needs.
I don't like horror stories, mainly because with like this channel, they're true. Like, oh, they are true. Cause like people send in their stories, these people animate them. Oh my goodness, I hate this. I hate this. I don't like this. Why would I ever do this? Ugh. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you had enjoyed me scared. Oh my goodness. If you enjoyed, leave a like, comment down below if you were scared. Probably not. I was probably the only one who was scared. Don't forget to subscribe and be a part of the Jelly Subscribbles. And bye.